Okay, just dear listener, I just want to say if you've experienced what I did, which is being constantly bombarded by people on social media trying to tell you that you're doing something wrong if you're not earning millions yet, if you're not yet turning your hobbies into your income, if you don't just live off of posting on Instagram or doing whatever you used to like, that you're a failure, I'm here to tell you that you're not. And okay, I mean, you don't know me. Does it mean a lot from a stranger? I'm not sure. What I want to say is that last night I, by accident, opened an app, a note app that I used to use a lot around 10 years ago. Wow, it's been a while. And up to my surprise, I found so many notes with wonderful essays. And by this, I realized that I must have liked writing. Do you know if I write now? No, I don't. And you might be asking yourself, okay, why do I care? I don't even know you. But the thing is, I just hope with my story to let you know that I want you to continue doing what your inner child would like to do. Oh, a lot of chaos, and I'm sorry I've never really sat down like this and just yapped about anything that was going through my head. But where I am getting is that I was all the time receiving these ads like, hey, do you want to earn millions and turn your hobbies into your income? And, it's just by some time we get this feeling that if we don't do it, we're some sort of failure. That like everyone's hating on 9 to 5 jobs so much that you feel like if a 9 to 5 is what you have, then you're doing something wrong. You're failing in life. Or why would you even want it? Like some people genuinely want a 9 to 5 job as it makes them feel stable or whatever. They are allowed to feel any type of emotion or feeling about this. But it's just like we get this image that it's kind of wrong and that there are so many self-made millionaires, and you see all those popular accounts on TikTok and Instagram being monetized for crap a lot of the times. And you think that, okay, if this is not what I'm doing, then I'm doing something wrong. You maybe even are familiar with manifestation, and okay, if I'm not having my dream life right now, it means I'm thinking bad and I'm existing wrong. And I just want to come as a voice of peace over you if you want that I would like you and all of us to continue doing what we genuinely like without having the expectation that it's supposed to support us financially in life. It can, if that's what you want, and eventually it might. But if it doesn't now, I just want to say that don't let it stop you from doing whatever it is that you like doing. Because I don't write anymore. I don't do almost anything throughout my day. And you may think, what does it mean you can't do anything? Okay, well, I cook sometimes and post it, but then I'm also like, should I turn it into a food blog? Even though that's probably not even what I want. Maybe we'll see in the future, but then I will repair one clothing piece on my sewing machine and I'll start thinking to myself, okay, maybe I should become a sewist and make it into my job. I used to do tarot on YouTube, and the truth is that I stopped. Well, first of all, I got a bit burnt out because I had expectations of a number of views. See, I already had certain expectations, but the second reason was that it was not supporting me financially, and I was like, okay, I cannot put so much time and energy into something that's not bringing me anything back. And it's a flawed thinking because eventually it could have started doing that, but I didn't even allow it the time to bloom. And I don't know if the answer to this maybe is to actually have a stable job and a stable source of income in your life so that we can feel like we're not in this survival mode where we are trying so hard to have resources to survive, it's important, I guess, that we have, first of all, a source of support. So if it's a job in some people's case, that would be nice. And then do your hobbies on the side. Like I heard on the internet this, I don't know from whom, but that not everyone is just able to quit their jobs immediately and turn their hobbies into a stream of income. And I really do believe that, because I'm not this type of person. I don't think that I would be able to do this, like just quit one day. Actually, I don't even have a job right now. So, and from scratch do it, because I don't even know how. And maybe I don't value my hobbies too much. And if it's your dream to eventually have one of the things you like become your source of support, it's definitely possible. But there have probably been so many kids, or inner kids within us that have been killed by this mentality, that if you're not doing this with your hobby, you're failing, and that you're supposed to make everything public and everything's supposed to be on social media. Maybe even if you don't want an account showing off your creations, that, oh my God, no one's gonna know me. And we live in this cyber world instead of living in the real world. And I know it may sound like cheesy or just, okay, easy to grasp as a concept, but difficult to put into practice, because I'm struggling with it. So I'm not trying to now lecture anyone, okay, or say I'm better, because I struggle with that so much. But what I've realized is really that if you allow your day to unfold moment by moment, being in the now and being in the present, so many things can surprise you. But instead, we try to overly complicate everything with our minds and have an answer to, have a solution to every single problem or inquiry that we might have. We want this, okay, but how? We want to get there, okay, but how? And you ask all these questions about how you're going to get there, that you're not allowing yourself to get there in the end. Because instead of being swayed by the winds of life to a place that you belong, we get stuck in the mental place. So what I also wanted to say is that I used to read a lot of books. I don't know if you care. Okay, I need to stop letting this inner critic get to me. But I'm saying this, why? Because eventually I started being confronted with this challenge, personal challenge. The person that started it was my English teacher. He would come to us one day of the year, or a few, and say, okay, this is the end of the year, or the end of a cycle for me, where I count all the books that I've read this year, or I mark them on a somewhere, computer, piece of paper, whatever, so that I have a number of the books I've read. And he would tell us that last year I read 100 books, and this year I went to 150. And the only thing that made me do is count the books I'm reading. I used to love reading. You know what I used to do? Come right after school at around, I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon, go to sleep immediately without eating, just maybe brushing my teeth, going to sleep, and waking up at 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning while everyone was asleep, take a book and read up until the very time that I had to wake up for my classes. So let's say 7 or 8 a.m. Because I genuinely loved it. But as soon as I was met with the expectation, let's say the inner expectation I should have for myself to read a certain number of books per year, that literally killed my interest. I didn't know it at the time that it was gonna do it, that it was gonna kill the interest, but suddenly all I cared about was not being in the different universe that the book had to offer. It was about reading it as fast as possible so that I can mark it down as read, so that I can count it up and be like, I read 34 or 48 books this year. And if that ever happened to you, that you put an expectation on yourself with your hobby that you should do a certain amount per day or per year, or that it should be as good as someone else's you saw on the internet, or that it should outperform your last piece. It's just that these are all killers of joy and killers of passion. And at the end of the day, if you don't have that, if you don't have the joy and passion of what you're doing in the present moment, literally, what do you have other than thoughts? Because this is where I found myself. I didn't even allow myself recently, and by recently I mean the recent years, not days or months. It's been years that I've been living in my head and in my thoughts. And if there's fun around me, I don't even allow myself to feel or join the fun anymore, because I'm constantly overthinking about I'm not earning enough. I cannot receive support from my parents because I'm a burden. I have to be successful. I have to always affirm. I have to 24/7 change my mindset. I have to be a millionaire, whatever. And look, if you're still here and you're listening to this rambling, all I want you or us to redirect ourselves to is to again be able to stay in that present moment and do whatever it is that we internally feel called to do. And if there is anything you could do today to remind yourself of what you used to like, if you have any fraction of a time, that would be lovely if you could dedicate it to what used to spark joy in you, or creativity, or a sense of like, okay, I'm doing something nice, productive. I just like it. And it does not have to serve any purpose other than you existing. Because your consciousness now has this wonderful body, and you can decide to experience so many things. And unfortunately, there will become, or maybe fortunately, I'm not the god of the universe, so I shouldn't put meaning or labels onto it. But one day there will become a point that your body will disintegrate, mine and everyone else's, and we will not be able to get lost in the human activities anymore. So today, please dedicate a fraction of a time that you have to spare for anything that could genuinely bring you into the now and could bring you joy. Whatever it is that you used to like to do, without any expectations of posting it or receiving praise for it, even from yourself. Like, you don't have to like it, because maybe you used to create things that were amazing and beautiful, but you don't want to create something that's less than your last piece. Just allow yourself to make. Also, what I've encountered in myself and my friends is the fear of losing and wasting resources. What's coming to my mind is that I could now take out my sewing machine and just sew any piece of clothing or piece of fabric that I have together to create something. But what I find within me and my friends is that we are scared that if it turns out bad, it means we wasted the fabric or the stitch. In case of painting, that you wasted the canvas or the paints. And we start being such perfectionists that we are scared to try. And I had an encounter, let's say. I met my friend's younger sister that has a bunch of stickers, and she would stick them onto everything. On her forehead, which eventually, of course it means it wasted because it cannot stick to our foreheads. It's going to drop on the ground and not have the glue anymore on it. She would stick it on my phone case, on her backpack, on her notebooks. And I still have stickers that I've had for years that I've been afraid to stick. And I have a friend who does exactly the same because he's scared that he's gonna waste it. What if I stick it in the wrong place? And let me tell you, there is no wrong place. Whether you do it from your critic and thoughts, like this is the source, the inspiration for your action, or whether you do it for the love and for actually doing it, it doesn't matter. Because still, At least I believe so, that no matter what you end up doing, it's not wrong because it always will lead you to the next thing that you needed on your path. So, what I want to say, and I think we're coming to an end of this episode or whatever we call it, is that please do whatever you feel called. By the way, that was my stomach. I don't know if you could hear it growling, but oh my God, we need to eat. We need to feed ourselves. But today, please do something without worrying about wasting resources. You're not gonna waste it. If you already have something that wants to be used by you or is waiting or that you were planning to use, then it means that you will use it in the perfect time and in the perfect way that it needs to be used. And if it turns out ugly for you and your inner critic hates it, does it really matter? Because it brought you closer to whatever it is that you need to be brought closer to. So, that being said, I'm gonna try to just exist today. Exist without any expectations that I need to be making $100 per hour by doing this thing. Because, just no. I'm gonna try to exist and enjoy my human incarnation and my moments and my breaths and my activities, my hands, my voice, or whatever it will be that I will end up using. And if you've listened so far, I just want to say that can we do it together? As friends or as people who connected through this weird thing that the internet is, let's do it together and let's reconnect in the present moment as humans just genuinely enjoying their hobbies. Thank you for listening, and maybe I'll come back. Who knows?